Hi everyone, Vladimir is here to record the video that no one has asked for. Coldwild Games status report for March. So here's what happened in March with Coldwild Games. We went to GDC and it was alright. And apart from that, we were working on Merchant of the Skies. There were some changes and things that I want to discuss, mostly Valve changes, and then there's Epic Store things. So no, not for us. We're not going to Epic Store, but it's interesting to observe what's up nonetheless. So first of all, GDC. We've arrived to San Francisco on March 13th and left on March 23rd. Stayed there 10 days. The city was very surprising, to say the least. I really like the climate and the architecture, but the amount of homeless people is shocking. And when we went there, I felt like, hey, I'm coming from Eastern Europe. How bad can it be? But I was just surprised how the situation like that can happen. Yeah. As for the GDC itself, I have mixed feelings about this. Mostly, first of all, thanks to Polish Indie Game Foundation, Google Startups, and Game Industry Conference, we were able to get the ticket and our living costs mostly covered. So because of that, the price of being there was greatly reduced, and I'm super thankful for this. I was able to meet all the platforms and publishers that I wanted, so that's a huge bonus for me and a huge step forward. But on the other hand, I'm always thinking about people who paid $2,000 just to enter the conference premises and venues, and I just wonder if it's really necessary. My overall consensus is that if you have a successful game going on and basically you have all things figured out and established, then GDC is definitely worth going to. But if you're just an aspiring student and don't live in the US, I'm not sure if you should be going there. Mostly because, well, it's a networking event. Definitely every previous conference is a step towards the next one. So if you go to a game conference or any other conference which is related to your professional things, you kind of meet people. And then it's easier to meet them in the next events. So in regards of going GDC, you meet a lot of American people. And if you're not American, you won't be meeting them a lot of time. Mostly some of them you will. But my point is, if you're from Europe and you don't have a huge successful games, I think it makes more sense to spend your own money to go to European conferences because you establish similar kinds of relationship, and on some of them like Gamescom or Nordic, you can actually meet publishers, which I think is a bigger plus. Not a bigger plus, it's the same thing. Of course, GDC is greater in scale and gives you more opportunities, but still, I guess I'm going to prioritize European conferences for now, even though I liked it. It was super cool. So yes, mixed feelings, as I told you. Apart from that, our game Merchant of the Skies, despite not being here for almost 2 weeks, we kept working on it. We're still not super sure what it's going to be like. We know the trading is the biggest part of it and it's already programmed in, but we want to, spice up the whole formula by adding extra tasks and quests, so players will have a lot of things to do. There's the discussions whether we need plot or not. We definitely will have a tutorial with some character, Uncle Bo, that had a lot of discussions in this room, but since I'm making the build, I was able to just put Uncle Bo. And then we'll see how it goes. Not we'll see, Helen dislikes it. I'm okay with it. Apart from that, I wanted to comment on changes from Valve. Basically, the visibility of my pages starting on March 7th went down rapidly, and I'm not the only one. And March has been the worst month in terms of sales since 2017, when I didn't have, Lazy Galaxy. So I feel like one shouldn't rely on one store, and it's giving me a disservice for focusing on Steam for some time. Luckily, Rebel Story was published on consoles, so it's saving me a bit. But yes, There are super weird things happening on Steam right now, and I feel like if you're aspiring developer, you can't solely rely on Valve, even though you have to. So, uh, disregard it. And that's why it brings me to the next point about Epic Store. Basically, Epic does a lot of things wrong. At least I see it from ethical standpoint. Uh, of course, it's partially on publishers too. Like if you've seen Anno 1800, or what is it called, 1800, how it moved to Epic Store before the release. Same happened to Metro. Same happened to Division 2. I don't think it's fair to use Steam as a promotion page for your game and then moving it to Epic Store. On the other hand, if we consider Epic Store as a phenomenon, I don't think it's bad for them to do exclusives. Firstly, because it's very hard to come up with things that Valve hasn't done with Steam. So, and your store needs to be better so that users would switch to it. And I don't see it realistically happening without exclusives, unless somebody figures out super revolutionary thing, which we don't know. So, yes. And overall, I just think for developers, they really need this competition for Valve to have. Otherwise, they just can push the rules they want on you, even though they're super friendly. But you're still kind of relying on them. And those algorithm changes are really breaking down things, at least for me. I know it's different for bigger developers. I feel like I'm rambling right now, but yeah, I think the competition in the distribution front is better than no competition, while I'm still keeping with Valve. And I hope things keep working out for them, but I also hope the new stores will actually appear and just give some sort of a competition. Apart from that, the plan right now is to host Game Dev Conference in April in Latvia here. We have some cool speakers lined up, and of course develop Merchant of the Skies. And then May 2019 is going to be a huge sprint to finish the early access of the game as good as we can, so that when we launch it, there's a decent playing experience, which we are aiming to give you. Apart from that, thank you for watching. It's been a bit longer than usual, but a lot of things has accumulated, so thanks a lot, and Vladimir is out, and have a great week ahead of you. Bye!